Arcturus force field, Syrian force field. Time generates the tree through the breath of space.
We collectivated, strictly elevated, ever demonstrated, spiraling through time, liberating minds. We amplify, regenerate, culture. Venerate the elders there to give us shelter. Unify, cooperate, serving, preserving the culture, wisdom we can give. We collectivated, strictly elevated, ever demonstrated, spiraling through time.
Generate, elevate,
Let me see them hands high.
penetrate, meditate,
Let me see the sunshine.
liberate, activate,
Feel the beat one time.
generate, elevate.
Galactivation.
Harmonic rune, 111. Infinite mind wave reflects infinity. Octave 6. Octave of the infinite mind wave.
Confusion is illusion you create in the mind. Overcome and evolve and you see the sunshine. Activate the crystalline, vibrate so divine. Generate, elevate, galactivation.
BMU 144. You are harmonic rune 91. Galactic arc whole defines space. Octave 4. Octave of the galactic arc whole. Rune strand 12. Second gate of unity of vertical time ascending. Corresponds to the high priestess. Wind. Second light gate of Mikuak 21. Opens the universal light gate to the court of the prophet. BMU 315.
We collectivated, strictly elevated, ever demonstrated, spiraling through time, liberating minds.
Where cosmic prophecy is stored. High priestess ascends from the south, Darka pole, as cosmic breath and ascends as prophecy. Generates hyperplasma beta beta, stimulating waking conscious mediumship, and seals the radial plasma gamma. Opens third heptad gate, gate of the mystery, solar prophetic Uranus.
All right. Greetings to everybody out there across the planet. Wherever you may be, we want to thank you for taking the time to tune in with us at PR1328. We are excited to be airing this special broadcast today as we are in the beginning of the new Gregorian year, of course, 2021. There is a sense of new beginnings among the populations of the world in many ways. We're at a time of transformation of systems in any way you can imagine. And in fact, it is a time for your imagination. It's a time for your creativity to step forward and to be expressed. So that's one of the reasons we're taking to creating this platform here, that we can amplify regenerative arts and culture. We can amplify expressions from the heart, expressions in connection with the consciousness of continuity, because we are obviously part of this continuity ourselves, all of us, each one of us. And as we express this, as we amplify this awareness more and more, it will become the norm. It will be restored to our hearts and minds. And this is infectious. This is the kind of thing we look forward to seeing catching fire. And certainly the essence of people, the energy of the people across the planet right now is very ripe for transformation. This has been a very difficult preceding year, and we look forward to the new cycle with greater intuition, greater insight, more clear guidance. You know, many people are moving through processes of contemplation, self-reflection, because these changes bring this sort of thing forward. Lots of people are detoxing and cleansing. And so we know whatever it is that we can do to create the type of environment where life can prosper, life can flourish, starting from within ourselves, then we're heading in the right direction. And so planet restoration 1328 is the frequency of natural time, 13 months, 28 days. For more information on that, visit 13months28days.info, information about the calendar change movement. And PR is a heart song. It's an inspiration really given from spirit over a decade ago now. And today's show is very special because it is allowing an opportunity to bring together an elder and teacher of mine personally for 22 years, 23 years at this point. So it's a very special conversation to be had. And she has incredible, very important, very timely information, inspiration to share. And so one of the reasons we wanted to move to do this was because we knew that this message that she's bringing from her spiritual guides, the grandmothers of the four directions, is a message universally to be heard at this time, especially as we're coming through very hazy and dense experiences. It's important to gather clarification and clarity so that we may see clearly and take this 2020 experience into the future that we're creating together. So we will introduce Audri Scott Williams in just a moment. I'm actually awaiting the arrival of Bilal. I don't know if he's going to be able to log in, so we'll give it just a little bit. But at this moment, we are happy to share with you some of the sound vibration you heard at the beginning. That is the work of Bilal and myself. We have a songwriting production team called Mystic Column. And you can find our name on SoundCloud. You can find the songs there, check the music out, and just synchronize with it. Allow yourself to sit with it a little bit. It's what we call high resonance music. And this particular project, I'm hoping he does join because it's going to be great to get into a conversation with him about that. But this music has really been guided based in particular mathematics, which makes it very interesting. So it's a sound science that really relays synchronicity. It actually attunes us by listening. It attunes us to greater telepathy. I know that's a mouthful to share, but this is the process. This is where we are in this evolutionary cycle together. We have many tools coming forward, many sciences, both in the physical plane as well as quantum dimensions that are being activated now. And our guest will also hopefully be able to speak to some of that. I know she's a very creative and very guided and very conscious human being who's been gifted insight and awareness of some of these spiritual technologies. And among them is sound vibration. And so Bilal and I have been very excited to tap into the mathematics of synchronicity, the science of sound, and feel this experience as we're creating the music. It's actually moving and transforming us. And so it's a guided process musically, and we look forward to sharing more of that as we go. But I tell you what, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring our special guest in. Very, very grateful for her presence here. And 1 second. There we go. All right. Okay, there we are. We're getting it together over here. Thank you, Audri. Welcome. Are you able to hear me all right? I'm going to pull the music down a little
Great.
bit. Wonderful. I want to just thank you for being on the planet at this time and being able to, in your own grounded way, bring forward a very important message that is for the human family.
Yeah.
You know, I think we can certainly, you know, I just want to thank you first, just to start there. Yeah, I know. We were expecting Bilal to join the conversation. He may come in a little bit. We'll see how that goes. But just having you here today is wonderful. And, I called you a day or two ago and said, hey, can you do this? And, thank you for being responsive and willing to share at this sacred time. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I feel so much vibration, transformation. Uh, it's an exciting time to be alive. The divine is reaching right now here and waking us up, stirring us up, and I look forward to that.
Indeed, as we all do, for sure. So what's alive for you right now? What's happening that's really moving you at this time in this moment?
Yeah, the grandmothers did a reading for the year. We're going to talk more about that. But that energy has been in me and Karen as well, who partner in the channels, because she transcribes. But it's put so much energy in us. My challenge has been just not to bounce off the wall. I feel all of this energy. And one of the comments that I get from Mikuak often is, I talk about it out of this sense of excitement and looking forward to a rebirthing, if you will, on the planet in many ways. Or maybe it's a restoration. We'll see which it is, right? I think it's both.
Yes.
But what I feel through that, as people challenge in terms of being aware of what's going on, what's in the news, I have come to an awareness that this mighty few, and this will make sense as people hear the channel, what's called the mighty few, who really are being called up to reach a certain mass that then creates a shift. It's not about responding to what's in the news or the stories that are being told. It's really moving from that internal guidance, which I am feeling is so pure and so right on right now. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because as you said, the grandmothers have been working with you and guiding you for much of your life. Tell me a little bit about the grandmothers when you call them by name. Like, who are the grandmothers?
Well, as a child, I was one of those strange little children that used to like to sit in a tree out in the backyard and just be present to that and walk in the woods. And I was always in communication with the grandmothers and a lot of other entities that I think, had a lot to do with raising me up. And I didn't realize that was any different than anybody else. I thought everybody lived in this realm, these two realms, and that was as normal to me as anything else. So I don't have a sense that they came in at some point and became a part of my life. I never, in fact, in my memory, I remember them before I remember anything else. So it's something that has always been a part of my existence. So the grandmothers are spiritual. I call them angels sometimes. That's a reference that people can identify with. But they've been with me all of my life, and I've been very fortunate to have them in my life. So that's my orientation to the grandmothers. Now, when I was about 16, I asked them to go away. I was in college and I was young, and I wanted to fit in like everybody else. And so I asked them if they would go away and let me have an experience without them. And they really did. They stood on the periphery. I knew they were always there, but they didn't intrude. In fact, until about 20 years later, when I really opened myself back up again to them, I didn't do it with ease and grace. I wish I could say that I did. I had to have a traumatic health experience to finally get the fact that they were calling me back in to do my life work. And that was a transformative part of my life. So that's sort of an introduction to when you're living with guides, angels in your life, kind of have a real purposeful connection to your own objective. Uh, you eventually you not only hear the call, it's easier to.
Mm-hmm.
So every year they have, since 1998, they have channeled through a message that I've been given the responsibility of the public, not necessarily interesting, but energy.
Right.
And then in 1990, I was guided right. I didn't know at the time there were about 90 days where I would just so much information would come in, and I was trying to come up with it. Came the diary about the prophecy, and that was my first experience of actually public with my
Okay.
relationship.
Right. Yeah, it's powerful. We're definitely going to talk some about that. But I think it's good. I mean, as people are looking for guidance and insight into what's next, I certainly know that I've been, in my own inquiry, like in a questioning space of, okay, so what's happening? What now? Some of the options coming up, no, I'm not really feeling so much. Other option, what are we creating? Like, what's next? And then with the given limitations that we're all experiencing now in some ways as well, what to create becomes a question. But I also have been feeling the fact of it being really an inside job, the what or the work as it is, as it were.
I would like to just put this out there. Everything comes down to perception. And until we have the experience of something, we don't even recognize it in our field of vision. And so if we're only looking at what's being put before us as what's real, there's a whole world happening out there that is beyond that. It's sort of like analogy of the ship coming to to the Americas and not being recognized because there was never a ship. And all of a sudden someone pointed out that there is a ship. And so then you see that. Right. And I think it's important to lay that foundation, because right now, if we're going to lock ourselves into only seeing what is being presented to us, we are missing a whole level of creation that is available to us. In fact, it's happening all the time. And it's not so much a dimensional shift, it's a conscious.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I look forward to diving deeper into that with you as well. I'm going to go ahead and cue up, though, the grandmother's reading. I want to ask, is there anything in particular you want to say in introducing this, at this time?
I would just say, just as you're getting ready to play it and people are listening, just to breathe into it. There's no real introduction needed. I think the grandmothers speak for themselves very well, but open your heart and just really breathe into the messages that are being sent forward.
Absolutely. Well, that sounds like great guidance. So we will go ahead and play the video. And I want to thank you again for being here. And thank you for all those tuning in and who will also hear this message in divine time. But thank you so much.
Every year since 1998, the grandmothers of the Four Directions have sent a message for the year ahead. And this message has always been with the encouragement that I would share it with others. In the 2021 channel from the grandmothers, or message from the grandmothers, I must say, the channel has never before been so powerful. Never before has a message from them come with such vigorous assertion and insistence that their message be shared. If you are receiving this message, feel free to forward it on to others. If you would like to request an email copy of the reading, You can always contact me, Audri Scott Williams, at AudriScottWilliams@gmail.com. 2021, message from the spiritual grandmothers of the Four Directions, as channeled through Audri Scott Williams, recorded and transcribed by Karen Hunter Watson. We are the grandmothers of the Four Directions, 4 cardinal points on our beloved Mother Earth. We have existed throughout eternity. We were here from the beginning, and we will be here until the end. We reflect all that was, is, and all that ever will be. We are not bound by form, although we can assume any form necessary for our work in you to be accomplished. We are unlimited in our expressions, in our energy, and in our readings. We are the dreamers, the composite of all that was and ever shall be. We are the remnants of the creative source of all. When the universe divided itself in what you refer to as the Big Bang, Source spewed out itself into everything, everywhere, into all that is made manifest. We are the mothers of creation. The everlasting we are behind all that you see. And all that you see is but a fragment of our dreams. Our dreams made manifest. While we have tremendous capacity to create, our mission is to dream the world into existence, to dream all of creation into existence in the right time at the right frequency. We hold the vision for the limitless forms of life. Once life manifests, all the beings that inhabit this particular plane, all the earth, once the dream takes form, will spend its entire time, eternity if it takes it, to return to us, forgetting that what exists in form is created from our dreams and therefore cannot be separated from us. The Council of Light works between the worlds to monitor and to determine what is good and what is not so good. They are the eyes of the grandmothers in the realm of the physical. The Council of Light also functions as a regulator. Timeless as we are, the Council regulates the passage of form in its creation in the physical. They are masters of crafting and manipulating fractional dimensions, creating patterns to activate conscious awareness of our infinite universe, beyond space-time limitations of human understanding. The grandmothers birth the form to carry out the dream, and the Council of Light monitors the form in its effort to create. It is seeking to create that which it holds within, but never can fully be expressed in form. For you are the ones who manifest the dream in form. Everyone is part of the dream, and the dream is pure creative potential, the mind of the Creator. When this relationship functions in balance, the earth and all of life is in perfect harmony with all levels of creation. It is sustainable, and it is forever reinventing and recreating itself in harmony and balance with our dream, which results in everything made manifest in a regenerative pattern. Out of balance, it seeks to separate itself from its source, thus losing its capacity to be regenerative. While we are the dreamers that dream into existence all that you see, we are also the initiators of the carbon seed, which is the source of all things. Therefore, out of balance, that which has been created seeks to recreate itself on its own terms and disconnects itself from us, disconnecting from creation. The creation which sustains and upholds the very axis of the universe is the one connection to the one. It is an ancient truth. Therefore, the grandmothers of the four directions uphold the four corners of the universe, with the creative pulse holding the center. This is the foundation upon which creation thrives. The particles that come together and unite on the axis to build the foundation upon which all is built in the entire universe, the secrets of which are captured in fractals that are all around you. Open your eyes. The answers you seek regarding your nature, who you are hidden in plain sight. In balance, form on earth intuitively connects with the energy of its source and seeks to be in balance and not in control. Energy that is not in harmony with its source seeks to separate itself and form its own system of power and control, seeks to claim dominion over rather than balance with. These systems are not sustainable over time because they have chosen a pattern that is antithetical, an imitation rather than part of source energy. Over time, many have created religious systems ruled by artificial hierarchy that seek to empower a few while siphoning energy and resources from the masses, creating a hierarchy to a false god, and thus separating itself from the essence of creation. Further, it creates out of itself pain and destruction, triggering a reaction from the masses on various scales of reaction. This energy has controlled so much of life on this planet. Unchecked, it has reached the furthest extreme of separation, with no remorse and no sense of its own fragility, the illusion becoming its reality. This extreme lives off the life force of the planet and the universe. It sucks into itself anything that is life-giving, without regard that it can time out at any time, either due to its own destructive existence or by source itself. 2021 will be a time of great change, and this change will result from the power of our dreams in your realization. This source has run its course. In our dreams, we are dreaming life back into this place, creating a radiant glow on and around all of nature. The earth is beautiful, full of grace and awe. We call this earth our favorite place in the universe. Everything is dreamed into it that it may continue to create and to birth itself in every form of matter. Everything has life. Everything has a purpose. We dream this perfection and will not stand by and see it destroyed. 2021 will be a year of discovery and realigning as the mighty few continue to gather strength. Despite the rough edges, many advances, and the re-emerging of people caring for each other, the awakening of the heart of the earth will be evident in systemic changes and through those organizing for a sustainable existence on earth. A systemic alignment with consciousness and grasp of the dream. For everything there is a time. Now is the time to move from chaos to order. Many systems and structures will begin to break down completely, no longer capable of thriving. We refuse to allow that which is in us, that which has been birthed through us, to be siphoned off to sustain a non-viable reality. Therefore, the energy will become agitated, will express itself any way possible to destroy our dream. Its control shall be weakened by the collective consciousness of the awakened or mighty few. Its dominion over will diminish, as this is the time when the people will recognize the truth in themselves. They will catch the dream. They will remember into this existence the source of their beginning. That means every human, every blade of grass, every tree, the earth, the waters, the animals, all will be awakened and remember. The radiance of source will be evident. And as they reconnect themselves with the earth and her inhabitants, all life, they will remember they are stewards, co-dreamers with us, creating heaven on earth. There will be struggles along the way, manifesting in many forms. Move with wisdom and love, and the way will be made clear. As this energy rises, there will be a return to the basics. The lure of the riches of the material world will weaken as the cost, destruction and distraction, of the imbalance becomes more and more apparent. Balance will be restored, and a conscious maturity and understanding will set in regarding the power that is in the hands of the people. A regenerative impulse will redefine relationships, expressions, and creativity at all levels of existence. We have dreamed into existence the way forward. The emerging maturity in consciousness and in action will impact the growth of technology, the growth in systems, creation, and creativity itself will impact governance, monetary systems, communication, education, and so on. When human consciousness rises to that extent, a world built on truth, love, peace, and synergy is possible. When the consciousness rises so that all you see is of source, then you can create heaven on earth. This is a time of laying the foundation for an enlightened age to emerge. That is our dream. Everyone will have more than enough. As we said before, this will be a year that will have its challenges, as this will be the year that initiates the transition, the seeable, knowable, all recognizable, in a way that ignites memory of the beginning, memory of source as divine revelation. Those things that we have put in place, those markers throughout time, will become recognizable and will become a source of the remembrance process. While there may be times when existence feels rough and chaotic, it will be because the earth, connected to our dreams, is awakening herself. She will bring whatever is necessary to get the attention of the creation and every individual on this planet. Every living particle, every living thing contains the seed that carries the essence of our creation, and that is called the carbon seed. Every bit of creation holds it. The carbon seed is undergoing a rebirthing process. It only needs the light to awaken it. It is inevitable that our dream will return the balance, manifesting the endless age of balance and enlightenment. The people that are waking up will remember how close they came to losing it all. They will do what is right to return and ensure the balance. This will all not take place in this year alone, 2021. But 2021 is the year of laying the foundation for what is to come. It is the year of waking up. So the message for this year is the message that Baba Credo was trying to give to Audrey, and she is now just coming into an awareness and understanding of what he was saying to her. There are spirits all around you. Pay attention. Be careful. Be wise. Listen so you know what to attach yourself to and know what not to be destroyed by. You'll know because of the resonant frequency of the carbon seed that will recognize life, that will recognize our dream, that carries our dream inside. So when we say never underestimate the power of the grandmothers, as we created what's here, we are the only source that can also dream the dream of its destruction. At this point, we start over again. So when we say never underestimate the power of the grandmothers, believe that it is so. This concludes the first day of the channel for 2021.
Okay. That is powerful. Obviously, there's so many layers to the message. It's going to
Yes.
require repeat listening. And I'm glad that people can find the audio that you have available on your YouTube channel, right? So they can find for a
Yeah.
replay for themselves as well. That's important.
Absolutely.
We definitely want to make sure people can hear it again and again. It's and I've heard it a couple of times, and each time it's like, okay, it's just more clear.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow. So talk for a moment about the carbon seed that is mentioned. I mean, is there more to elaborate on that?
There's a whole lot. Your channel, just that alone. But let me just try to be simple. The carbon seed, when we talk about organic life, right? The organic compound, the major part of that compound is carbon. Okay,
Yes.
so carbon is essential, particularly to life on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so that's just a very basic idea of what carbon is. Now, in the context of the grandmothers, the carbon seed actually it's coded. It's coded to allow life to exist. It's sort of the carrier of the dream, the carrier of the message, the carrier of that part when creation, the Big Bang happened, is that idea of source, energy, is all
Mm-hmm.
carried in that carbon seed. It's the element, if you will, the part of what, in some contexts, the black matter in space, if you're to
Mm-hmm.
look at it. That and that's why one of the things that symbol that is used on some of the artwork for this particular channel is the black star. You'll notice the angel holding the black star.
Okay.
That's carbon seed. That's the program. That's all of everything. But we can't take in all of everything at once. However, that doesn't mean it's not within. But there's an activation right now that is happening.
Yeah.
And I believe that what is the white solar energy, wind
Yes.
energy,
Exactly.
you know
That's
that
today.
a
Yeah.
reference for that is that there is this influx of energy that is coming in and waking us up in a way.
Okay.
So that carbon seed is the carrier of that energy. So when you see a star in the sky, that star is old. It's about ready to burn out. So it's the black matter in space that carries that is the initiator of the carbon seed. So that carbon seed in us receives certain messages, is activated at certain times for purposes. And right now that influx of divine energy is activating the messages that are available in the carbon seed that affects our DNA and everything else.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine that there is a much more in-depth reading channel with regard to that information. And it reminds me of something Bilal and I have been studying recently as it relates to energy that is emitted from Sirius. And there's
Yes.
an interesting correlation there, that this origin matter, if you will, the
Yeah.
initial impulse and that pulse of energy over time to sustain life. That,
Yes.
when we look at our sun, for example, our sun is a child of this source energy,
That's right.
and I know that that also really connects to the NOWTIME Prophecies, as well as I can recall. It's been many years that information has been seeded, but it's been very powerful to watch it present itself in the evolutionary process here as a planet. I want to bring in Bilal. We got him. We got him linked up
Oh,
into
good.
the backstage here. So we're going to bring him on in right now. And Bilal, can you hear us? Welcome.
Greetings. Yes, I can.
All right. All right. Excellent. Welcome. How's it going, man? Happy to have you.
Yeah, all is well. Giving thanks. I'm loving the message, loving the download, and just soaking it all up, and seeing the synchronization with what you're speaking about now, and some of the music that we did, because we have a song on the project called Starseed, and it kind of has that same energy. I'm not sure if that's one that we had the clip of you on, though. We had that one, and then we had Celestial Waters as well, which speaks about those energies that are coming in, the celestial waters that are hitting the earth. So yeah, it's just beautiful to see the synchronicity of it all, and see the harmony of it. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to play some of that material. In fact, if I recall, we have you on Aria as well as Starseed. So yeah, Bilal was
Oh,
spot on with that. So yeah, we're gonna cue those up in a little bit. I'm wondering, maybe we can go into part 2 of the reading. Is there anything you want to say in transitioning or bridging? Because again, so much was covered. I know we only talked about carbon seed a little bit, a tiny bit, but even as it relates to what's happening on the world stage right now in society and culture, there was a lot in there that was really speaking to the the fact that the shenanigans that have been played out for so long are their time is expired. So,
right.
and I think that's one of the things I really take from the message is it's a very almost stern message. The sense I
Yes.
get right now is that anyone that's receiving divine insight or that kind of energy, and it relates to this conjunction as well, right? Because Saturn is very much about order and
That's right.
ensuring, that things are constricted necessarily in some cases. And then Jupiter obviously has magnified that enormously. Yeah. So and I see and I feel a sense into a very similar energy with the grandmother's reading, from even reading the words on the page and then listening to the audio of how you share this message. But it's a gentle, loving sternness. It's like that energy about, your grandmother and you don't mess around. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
a certain line not to cross.
Yes.
And I feel like humanity has that line that collectively there's been so much out of order, inordinate behavior for so long. It's finally like an energy of like, look, we, we've allowed a certain amount of ridiculousness to play out, and we're not playing with you.
Yeah.
And the way we're not playing with you is unlike anything you have ever understood. You can't even comprehend how we can hold the order and hold that line on you,
Exactly.
because you are the children of our children's children. Like, you are, as a species, very new, in that sense, in terms of how advanced we are, or how we are evolving to become, and how far we've come as the human species. So they're giving us an ultimatum, practically, which
Basically.
we see is playing out in various manifestations. The ultimatum is like, look, choose the highest that you know in your heart to be true, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because nothing less
And
is going to do right now. And you
absolutely. I
don't
mean,
want to be in
even
the
in,
way of that is getting moved out of the way.
that's right. You know, even in the Diary of NOWTIME Prophecies, you know, in the very ending part, they prophesied a lot of things that have happened and are happening. One of the things that they said there was never underestimate the powers of the grandmothers. And what I find here coming back in this channel is they're saying it again, and they're saying it in a very explicit way. You know, you can, things could change like that as far as pregnancy. And but it would look a lot worse for us than that. And so I think what I would say in preface to the next part, I think at first they're trying to tell you who they are, and how important it is, and how sacred. And I hope that this doesn't get lost in the messages, that the earth is a favored place. They have said that from the very beginning of time that I've known. There is something special about the earth. And they will do anything to make sure the earth doesn't get destroyed. Now, I remember in 2012 when I was in Guatemala and up in the mountains with the elders, and one of the things one of the grandfathers said to us was, you all are talking about all the things that we need to do to take care of the earth. The earth is going to take care of itself. You need to be worried about yourself. And that's the truth. There is, when Source sends out that energy in everything, it's the energy that we respond to, how we respond to that. But see, we do have, and we've made some not so good decisions, but it's a part of our growth. I mean, we can't get stuck in the negative aspect of it. This is happening for those who can see and who are willing to see. We know the truth of what's happening. And it's a story we don't need to be stuck in. The story we need to be moving in. That's what the second part is about. It's the story of our evolution, possibility, how we evolve, and what we give our attention to, what we're holding in that process is so critical to us moving forward. So they're giving us insight in our forward.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you for that overstanding as we explore part 2 out there. And we'll just go ahead and get into it now, and then we'll have a further discussion afterward. Thank you so much. All right.
Yeah, thanks.
Part 2 of the channel from the Grandmothers of the Four Directions for 2021. What can you as a human family do to support what is to come? What can you do to facilitate the optimal alignment and potential era of peace? 2020 created a global opportunity for the human family to shift from the external perception of life to an embodied self-realization, meaning that life is a partnership with many sources, but ultimately a relationship with Source as the individual remembers the truth of his or her existence. From the beginning of time, there exists a progressive path to the realization of Source as us. In the last 2,500 years, there is what is referred to in NOWTIME Prophecies as Sun Consciousness, S-O-N, without Sun Consciousness, S-U-N, duality and separation. Now, this consciousness has run its course, is giving way to the time when the light illumines the dark, and you will see yourselves reflected in the light, recognizing the source that unites all. This revealing truth occurring in each of you is what makes the evolutionary leap possible. 2020, complete with the coronavirus pandemic, environmental and climate conditions and catastrophes, and social unrest, has, as an analogy, formed a perfect storm, a storm that is shifting perceptions, values, lifestyles, and governance. It is putting millions, if not billions, of people in a state of uncertainty, powerlessness, and fear. It is also encouraging people to question, to look deeper into things, to reestablish relationships with themselves, with their families, and with their communities, whether the communities are online or at home. This has created the opportunity for humanity to begin to observe itself, to begin to ask questions in a different way, and for humanity to assume power over themselves and take authority over themselves. The truth is slowing people down, decreasing opportunities for people to connect physically, meaning people being more isolated and not able to have a physical connection, makes them begin to confront those things within that they otherwise would not pay attention to. That then creates a field of possibility for us to work at a greater rate, at a greater efficiency, creating the opportunity to break down the pseudo-reality or false reality that has emerged. As a result, people are now beginning to reconnect with their higher consciousness and that of the human family. This enables them to come face to face with themselves. It is important to remember transformative energy is activating a field that we, the grandmothers, can see, and so will you as you rise in consciousness. This energy field pulsates pinkish orange in color and represents a movement that there is a soul awakening. Pink is the color of passion, tenderness, nurturing, and safety, while orange is the color that represents joy, creativity, adventure, success, change, freedom, and social communication. People are turning to Source, to their Creator, in their own way. Having the time to connect online, many are having an opportunity to experience and explore all kinds of traditional and non-traditional ways of calling on the Creator for help at this time. The earth is facing many challenges, yet she is beginning to breathe again. We are encouraged as we, representing the mother, find ourselves in a birthing, rebirthing time. This may appear to be a minute shift in the consciousness of humanity. However, this pause is creating enough of a gap to affect the potential for rebalancing on many levels. It is providing an opportunity for change as the collective consciousness is waking up. As we said in many readings in our relationship with Audri and in NOWTIME Prophecies, it only takes a mighty few to create a shift, a window of opportunity. We, you, are in that window of opportunity. We are spending time in what you may call the dream world. That is where we create what we are calling forward for humanity. In 2021, you will witness people assessing the dream world. In 2021, you will witness people accessing the dream world, which is the foundation for what is emerging. This will enable us to accelerate the activity of dream time. It is time for people to rest, to breathe, to contemplate, to receive the messages from the dream time, the messages we are delivering into the dream time. As humanity takes this evolutionary leap forward this year, there will be many attempts to control the minds of humanity, to keep it as it was before. However, as the gap opens in the consciousness of the human family, it will reach a tipping point where it will claim the greatest good of all, an awareness of itself as one with each other, one with the Creator, one with the infinite breath of the universe. What is it that we must do at this time? Breathe, slow down, and allow the creative pulse inside you to guide you. Knowing that this time, all the love in the universe will be with you. We are right beside you in your dreams and quiet places, creative impulses and overflowing sense of adventure, nurturing and love. This is the time, and we see it. We know it. Despite all the challenges, despite all the determination of the forces that are trying to control it, there is a fundamental shift in the mind of the One, the Creator, Source, which is sustainable, loving, and filled with infinite possibility, affecting an awakened world. When you have an impulse to slow down, slow down. Allow the dream to come to you. When you feel fear and unease, allow yourself to be that, to be with it. When you feel fear and unease, allow yourself to be with that. Transition can be painful. It can be a pivotal point of opportunity. When you are feeling most pressed, be with it. Move through it. Relate with someone you feel comfortable with. Call on your spirit guides. Whatever it takes, don't run away from it. It is inevitable you will begin to see. Your third eye is opening. It may not feel comfortable at first because it goes against the grain of the old construct. Knowing thyself is seeing and recognizing the source in you. Now that you are beginning to see the truth, you will have highs and lows. Remember that you are in an evolutionary process. Don't run away from it. Run into it and discover the treasure. Surround yourself in love. You can do this by stating your intention and letting that intention guide you. Trusting the inner voice. There are times you will be emotional, as whatever needs to heal will come up. Embrace the emotions. They are a great teacher. This is a perfect time to reach out to a friend, a relative, a counselor. I encourage you to dream, to align with the energy that is around you, and know, really know, that the source in you is calling you to be awake. Breathe into the moment and allow the dream time to work in you. Create out of that energy. This is a new beginning. Do not allow yourself to be caught up in chatter that blocks your mind. Observe rather than absorb. There will be a lot of energy released to keep you from realizing your own power at this time. Make wise choices. When in doubt, ask your higher self and trust the answer. The window of opportunity that we are feeling at this time is one we have not felt in an exceptionally long time. That is why we are dreaming this new age in. Our dreams are streaming into your consciousness. The more you are open, the more it flows and increases in you. It is not about us. It is not about us. It is about it all, and the all in you. The story is changing. Who are you? And who are you to become? We encourage you to dream, to be peaceful, loving, and strategic, meaning when something resonates as truth, it is. And when something resonates as false, know that it is so, and send love into it. Be sure you are not trying to create a world to make everything fit. Trust yourself. Either things are true or they're not. Don't allow yourself to be lured back into the world of illusion. Pay attention. It takes exercising a level of consciousness that has been put to sleep. Waking up is a process. Opening up means opening yourself on every level. Stay close to Source, to that internal knowing of who you are with courage and wisdom. A new world is emerging. It has the potential to be an evolutionary leap forward for all of life on planet Earth. Change comes in many ways. Your evolutionary leap depends on you. Make the most of this time for you and for the greater good. Remember, the shadow lurks in the dark corners. Happy New Age.
Okay. That is beautiful and very encouraging. That's the message. That's what I'm feeling from that listen of it. There's so many jewels in there
I know.
to want to try to grasp for any of them, and yet just allow them all to sink in and synchronize with our being. I think that's really what's called for. Not to rush to try to grasp and understand so much, but really.
One thing I would mention is that that there's a certain vibration that comes from the mother, right? And then there's a particular vibration that comes from the grandmother, you know? So it's like, I kind of feel that in the message. And it's like an intimate thing. Like she's sitting with you there and she knows like, okay, you may be giving away your energy in this way, or, it's like, now it's time to energize yourself. And it's like a real comforting energy, and a grandmother strength to it at the same time, I think is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a very particular thing, So I just wanted to mention that, just that energy of the grandmother. You feel that dignity and that strength, from a graceful standpoint, as well. So it's powerful.
Reminds me of some of the elders that I met who are no longer Auntie Boy, who were very important in my life, and I can see. I'm grateful you brought that up, because that's how they were. Right? They could be joyful when it came down to, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to take in right now. You knew it was time to sit down and it also,
Absolutely. So folks can find the transcript of the reading at your website, right? I know that's we have that there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's there.
That's pretty sure that's there. Also, it's pretty much circulated on Facebook now.
Okay.
We've been getting a lot of feedback, and anyone who's interested, as I put out in the reading, you can contact me, Audri Scott Williams at gmail.com. Audri is spelled Audri. And I'll be glad to make sure that we get that information to you. My job as a channel for the grandmothers is to be obedient, and they have expressed that this needs to go out and it needs to go out as wide as possible. So I am committed to doing that. And so just contact me if you're not finding. But some of the reading came, and then we are now putting things in place to make sure that it's accessible. So I
That's
imagine
right.
by the end of maybe next week we'll have everything in place. And then one of the things that they've also asked me to do is to do Now Time Revisited and go back, maybe, as they say now, unpacking some of what is some of what's said in these two segments at a deeper level, for those who are wanting to have access to that, to bringing ceremony, rebirthing ceremonies around, making them available.
Okay.
And we'll have to see how we do that online. Of course, I'm going to trust all you brilliant young folks out there to help guide in that, but to keep the energy flowing, and also understanding that this is going to be grieving. And so we will be that allowed not to run away, then to whatever is coming up, but then also nurture that place into a place of activation. So those are sort of the things that I am looking at going forward, among other devices that I share with them.
Will there be any reissue of the Diary of Now-Time Prophecies with this being revisited?
Actually, there is a Now Time Prophecy / workbook
Okay.
that is ready to be released. Just finishing some of the final touches on that, and
Excellent.
that allows individuals to have their own experience. One of the things that, if you've been with the grandmothers as long as I have, there is no, how do I say that? They're an open vessel for teaching and for helping us to really see. We talk about that carbon seed. That carbon seed holds the essence of the force of life. The degree to which we are able to access it has to do with where we are consciously. Now, if you really listen deeply, one of the senses you get from this is that our potential conscious awakening right now is by leaps and bounds. That's why I loved it when you have, what was it, the white solar wind?
White solar wind. That's right.
I mean, I don't know, is that the day that we're on?
That's today's date. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
That was the reason we chose to do today's date.
Okay, so the influx of something divine to fortify the physical is one of the aspects of that energy. And so it's no accident that you chose that for right now, because that's what we're talking about, this influx of energy, this awakening of the carbon seed, triggering it up to the next level, okay?
Yes.
Nothing new. It's just that we are having a new experience with the highest level of reality that is possible. We're having this little bitty influx of energy that's waking that up. That's, it doesn't take a lot to create a shift.
That's right.
So I know I've gotten off on a couple of tangents.
That's
here, but
wonderful. No. This is
the synchronicity of the fact that you chose this day. And when I was looking at it, I said, influx. That's exactly what is happening right now. And so you allow that energy to come through this session by just naming it in that way.
right on. Well, it's an honor. I mean, it is a powerful day in the fact that in the cosmovision or the calendar, the galactic synchronized calendar, 260-day calendar, this is my perfect guide power, the white solar wind. And it's the guide power of one known as Bolan Ik, who was the partner, the feminine counterpart to Pakal Votan, the Mayan time traveler. Yeah, so today's energy about the intention of communication and moving with that solar wind energy is a very special day. And that is, we were guided to reach out to you because this was the day. And we're like, okay, this message being communicated by the grandmothers needs to get out now. Like, okay, this is a perfect arrangement to do that. And so, yeah, we just followed the guidance, like you said. We were kind of do what you're told. Don't don't
And
don't think too much.
and two, like speaking of communication, I just want to big up and give much thanks to Mama Karen for the transcribing of this message and her position, you know, in this movement as well. Because I remember back when we did the retreat, I think she was one of my guides, you know, at that time. So I do remember that. And I have to hail her up, you know, give thanks for the works.
Yes, a very
Absolutely.
powerful uh, capacity to hold energy out of,
Mm,
and so it's no accident that doing this together. Thank you.
absolutely.
Give thanks.
It's truly our
I,
honor.
and I have a closing, or just, I don't know where we are in terms of time. I did want to make sure one
Sure.
really, and every experience that we're having right now is an opportunity for us. And if something, whether it's a relationship, you connect with being negative, or it's probably your great gift for trans. If you can move with it, move through it, and until you love it. And hear what I'm saying. So even in our relationships where we're having problems, we can open ourselves at a level beyond what we're pretty much the framework that we have established in our world right now. If you can just stay with it until you love it, then you get to see the evidence of your own evolution.
Wow. Wow. That's a big one.
Wow.
That's commitment, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that reflection.
The piece of that that's important is that when I say stay with it until you love it, it doesn't mean giving yourself away.
Right.
It means honoring divine, that you can hold the energy of love. And that doesn't mean you have to give up who you are. It's very important to get that, because in the old paradigm, when something didn't work, you know, it was easy to separate. I mean, we've all, like, you know, whatever. But nowadays, it's you know, in the whole coronavirus has been a setup, because it forced us to be still in a way that we haven't been in a long time.
Hmm.
And in this stillness, we're beginning to discover ourselves.
Hmm.
And hear what I'm saying? We're beginning to discover ourselves not as having ourselves defined. We're starting to question some of those definitions that we have, some of those stories that just don't fit right now, because that
Hmm.
divine instinct, like wedge coming in,
Hmm.
creating enough in our now awakened state, even if it's little, that we can grasp that, because really the evolution that is coming forward, or what we're in the midst of, we grow by leaps and bounds the quicker we get to love. But there's no pill to get there. And it reminds me of being in Aljunta, India. Okay, I've shared before how caves had rooms where those that were seeking enlightenment would be cemented in. This is like 5,000 years ago.
Hmm.
And the only way they could get out was when they achieved enlightenment. And
Hmm.
what is so interesting, in the center hall of those caves, in the center, are these columns. And I think there are like 7 columns, maybe up 7, right? Maybe 8, but I think it's 7. And each column resonates at a different note, a musical note. So if
Hmm.
you're standing, you'll hit C, you know, you might hit A, you might hit whatever. And if you have a group sitting there, you imagine the frequency you create in this cave with these massive columns.
Hmm.
and you're making music. So, it's no accident that that's there. And this is part of, if you were to think about the readings of the grandmother as a skeleton or as an architect drawing, they're just giving us how to together. But how we dress it up is going to be up to us. What we are learning from that which is coming up in us. What column are we standing at? Are you a C or a G or an A or a C, or what column are you standing at? And when you hit that column, what is resonating and what is being called up in you? Song, And then when you get somebody else comes in and they're getting another column, and all of a sudden, you start to create this melody, right? And it's not something that you would actually think to go, oh, let me go pay and do this and have this experience, my own growth, my own opportunity to become enlightened. No, it's that journey. But that's the physical example. You guys, Mystic Column, hello, right?
Hello.
You claim it for yourself. So in that sense, how I connect to Mystic Column, how I connect to you all is you are bringing the resonant frequency. That's part of what is in you. You're dreaming it into existence, and then then the manifestation happens. So all of that, this time the energy is subtle, but a powerful, if you will. And anyone who's hearing the message of grandmother, the message is going to resonate in them. That's their call. And it's going to hit them exactly how it's meant. There's no way I can say this you ought to get out of it. I can only express the rhapsody that's come from me. Right? And I just am so grateful that you allowed me and forward.
Yeah, we give thanks for you, absolutely, for entrusting us to be part of sharing this message, because we do feel its importance. And we love humanity. We love the Creator, we love all our relations. That's why we do what we do. We're driven and informed and guided by that love. So, and in our case, it goes back many years. As I said at the top of the show, I mean, I've known you going on 23 years when you were receiving the NOWTIME Prophecies then. And there was a whole lot of power happening around that time. I know Bilal was working with Dr. Ando at that time. And all of our teachers, all the elders, all those relationships have really served to develop us and grow us to the point where we are now. And so the music that we're inspired by is inoculated with the wisdom that we've received from you and others of our spiritual family out here, and this is our expression. As you said, it's going to take its own unique expression, as we all have. And that's what we're really attempting to do, is encourage people to open up their heart, that they can allow that expression to come out as well, and find how it can serve to help with the rebalancing of Earth, being a part of this opportunity and this mandate, this the atomacy that I feel coming from our galactic relatives, coming from our spiritual family, is a very, it's a very clear clarion call, and we're poised now more than we have ever been to really stand in that, to fully embody that, and some are waking up, as if overnight, and they're coming online. We've had a responsibility of helping steward the conditions that could allow for a greater realization of this energy for a couple of decades now or more. So, it's all happening simultaneously. It's a beautiful harmonic sort of crescendo of sorts. And, so give thanks.
And I just want to give appreciation for that pure channel too, because, as someone who has gotten readings throughout my life, and I feel like you can feel a pure channel, and like, also, like, for instance, I hear when the grandmothers say, like, it's not about us. It's about, this transformation on a whole level. So it's like they come as the grandmothers, not as I'm Mother Mary or Joan of Arc or, names that you know. It's like, it's not about us. When the channel comes in that pure, humble way, and it's something, like you said, you resonate to, that's a part of the shift, is we recognize through the energy rather than, this big name type of thing. So just want to acknowledge and give big appreciation for, such a grand channel and such a pure channel.
Absolutely. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and cue up the song, the first song we feature you on the Sirius Codes, the Great Conjunction EP. And a little bit about that, Bilal and I, at the beginning of the rhythmic moon of equality, that we're in the fourth week of that moon right now. At the very beginning of this moon, with the solar eclipse, we took a 7-day series where we created a song each day based on these particular melodic tones that themselves are transmissions from Sirius. These are mathematically derived transmissions, and basically the nectar of them are these frequency tones that go in a particular pattern. And that just opens up the panorama for creativity to flow, and that's what it allowed. And so the song that we're going to share right now is the first song you feature on, called Aria, and it was on Kali Day. Kali's the fourth day of that cycle. And so we'll go ahead and share that right now, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more. Thank you all. Thanks out there for everybody listening. And yeah, we're happy to have you here.
Everything that is needed to bring forth life is present. Let us take that deep dive into a connection to natural time.
Explore your superconscious, act with magnetic purpose, cosmic creation in mind. Manifestation, galactic synchronization, deep meditation, pure light.
Look at the beauty everywhere, the answer to my prayers. I finally arrived. I'm seeing things that I never seen, reawaken in a dream. The vibes are sublime.
Life on a whole other world. Life on a whole other world.
As we just center down into this moment, we center into the infinite now, where all creation is birthed. Let's take a deep breath.
Radio plasmas connect with the noosphere. The stars, moon, and planets align. Prophets and masters stimulate higher awareness. Tune into your whole mind.
Look at the beauty everywhere, the answer to my prayers. I finally arrived. I'm seeing things that I never seen, reawaken in a dream. The vibes are sublime.
Life on a whole other world. Life on a whole other world.
this experience. And so it is.
And so it is.
It is.
Wow.
Ashe.
Ashe. Time is art, and this is, an expression of that in a real way. So we're really honored to have been able to draw from your wisdom and from that narrative that speaks to exactly where we are right now.
Well, I'm so grateful and honored to you guys. You are just lifting my heart, knowing that my mother used to love and put it with sound vibrations that you gave the ether. Keep collecting.
That's right.
And
That's right. And more to come. More to come. Like we're definitely realizing that this is the new economy, so to speak. This is the currency of our creative energy. That is the new economy. And so,
yeah,
however we can tap into that well of inspiration to birth or bring forth the vision, which helps us actualize the new, then that's we're doing our job,
you're
and
part.
it's a joy. So, yeah, it's definitely something we're feeling the wind at our back, literally, that white solar wind at our back, really
Yes,
encouraging us to move forward with clarity,
yes,
and discernment. I think that's definitely coming through in this reading too, is just really recognizing the ability to discern and think for yourself,
yes.
and not just, really trust your inner knowing, really tune
And
into that.
and that's a very important part right now. I mean, you can take any kind of energy. I mean, if you put fire and water together, they're going to each try to strive to try to survive.
Mm,
So the fires try to burn the water off, try to put out the fire. And that's kind of where we are right now. Use that analogy. What's coming at us visually,
mm,
conceptually in the news, and just, things are being broken down. When things are being broken down, those things that have created them are feeling more like they have to be more active and more of a force.
mm,
And so it's important that discernment,
mm,
because it's going to be easy to get drawn into that and to think that that's the reality you have to be reacting to. When in truth, the
mm,
reality is, this beautiful evolutionary opportunity. And if
mm.
we put the energy there, then it's added unto versus, you know, and so
Exactly.
the discernment is critical.
Mm. Absolutely.
I feel like that encapsulates a lot of what was said in the song as well, because we're talking about life on a whole nother world. We're not talking about another planet. We're talking about this planet, though it's a whole nother world than this other dimension that other people are adding their energy to the agreement that this exists, you
Mm,
know? So
mm.
moving into this aria, which is a whole nother world that exists here and now,
That's right.
simultaneously, even
Yes.
Exactly.
though we're just activating more into it, you know,
It's
and affirming it.
That's right.
exactly. I had a conversation this morning, Bilal, that kind of goes with what you're saying. A friend of mine was saying, they're really starting to develop the extraterrestrial experiences. I said, well, and there's probably going to be a landing. I said, well, they've been landing all along, just that nobody's told that. So, I mean, if we could see outside of the limitation of what we adapt as our reality,
Mm,
we would see multiple types of life forms and energy on the planet. And so, what you're saying is,
mm, mm. Absolutely.
it is.
Wow, powerful.
On
Yeah,
the
that
next
reminds me
episode.
of what the grandmothers were saying. They told you, that they were mentioning about Cradle Mutwa, mentioning how there's all of these energies that are around us. There's all of these beings, you know, this there's so much that's happening
Exactly.
that unless we're on the frequency and aware, then we can't reap the benefit of the positive side,
Yeah.
nor can we be aware of the shadows lurking in the dark,
Yeah.
in the dark. So
Yeah. The boogeyman under the
Facts.
bed is actually God. We just
Exactly.
weren't ready.
I see that exactly.
It is definitely time for revealing
Yes.
what's really happening. So, we have the other song that you are featured on. I think we're going to take it home on this song. This
Okay.
piece is aptly titled Starseeds. And so this was the sixth song in that sequence. So for the sixth day of a 7-day cycle, this song is sort of the overlay for that energy. And it also relates to the solar plexus in particular. And when you look at the arrangement of the chakras with the order of these particular songs, they go in a spiral pattern. So it's not just from the root chakra to the crown. It actually begins at the crown. And the energy spirals through the 7 days from the crown to the root, to the third eye, to the sacral, to the throat, to the solar plexus, and completing in the heart every 7 days. So this is the
It's like
sixth day.
a royal field.
Well, the fact is each one of us we are
Yeah.
each toroidal fields in that regard. And I definitely feel that this contributes to that energy in terms of bringing that resonance and that
Okay.
sensation, the feeling sensation that one can have with music.
Yeah.
This song in particular is interesting because it's very playful, and it's sort of describing this narrative of the way the energy plays here in our solar system, and kind of recognizing our interrelationship with the cosmos as well as with the earth and the fullness thereof. So, yeah, we'll do that. But again, let people know where they can follow up with you. You want to give your email address again?
Sure. You can contact me at Audri Scott Williams at gmail.com. That's AudriScottWilliams at gmail.com. I'm very happy.
Bilal, you have any comments?
Nope, just appreciation. Give thanks for joining the broadcast, everyone who's taking this ride with us. And Mikuak and I also, we soon have a walkthrough of the album that we've been speaking of. We'll be doing that. It's coming up soon. So we'll be putting out some heads up for that. So give thanks and praise. One love.
One love.
Peace and love, everybody.
We must realize that the whole universe is going through this remembrance process. So it's not just something that's affecting human beings, it's affecting the earth, it's affecting the cosmos. So the whole universe is going through a process of remembering itself back to source. And this is all happening at a cellular level.
To Mercury to send a message on the wind. Go tell Mars to end the wars and mend the world again.
Sow the seeds of peace, star seeds, flowering, sunshine, natural mind, love sublime, empowering. Kiss the ground, unlock the code, wear the crown, watch it glow, light the fire, Agni fire, universal fire, clear the murk and mire.
That increase is coming from the energy that's coming into our sun, into our solar system, that even in the universe there is a quickening or an increase in the pulse.
Over mountains, everything moving to high frequencies in the flow out of the cosmos. Naturally, life is in synchronicity.
Neptune
Sow the seeds, seeds of peace, star seeds, flowering, sunshine, natural mind, love sublime, empowering. Kiss the ground, unlock the code, wear the crown, watch it glow, light the fire, Agni fire, universal fire, clear the murk and mire. Sow the seeds, seeds of peace, star seeds, flowering, sunshine, natural mind, love sublime, empowering. Kiss the ground, unlock the code, wear the crown, watch it glow, light the fire, Agni fire, universal fire, clear the murk and mire.
Celebrate life.
Blend with the land, celebrate life.
Come on, live to the heights. Live with the land, celebrate life.
The energy coming in, remember all this energy converging, not a wave going around and through us and out, but converging in is converging into the heart center. And the heart, and we talked about the brain being more like the command center, where the heart is what filters all things that are good, that are whole, that are true, and that hold the essence of love. Because it is the vibration of love, that's the only vibration that can match the energy. So if we're going to do something with this energy that's coming in, as we remember and we get pulsed up, the only way we can hold that and make it real in our lives is that it has to channel through the heart center.
We also talk about time shifters, that we are not just moving in space, but we are evolving in time. We are a part of a larger plan of cosmic evolution.
I am one with the earth and myself are one mind.
Remember this book of remembrance, buried there within your heart, deep. Galactic hierarchy, tap you into Samadhi. Press the key frequency, you'll see it speak. All the hard work you were doing, still return to the center where the light is pure, always pure. You are my reflection, sacred divine perfection of the universe. From the heart of the mother, serving them all of celestial waters, yeah. We're a part of the stars made of stardust, pour upon us celestial waters, yeah. Synthesize and synchronize, we'll harmonize our love. Synthesize and synchronize, we'll harmonize our love.
Hyperplasmic illumination, future frequency, universal cosmic creation. Love's the master key. I am one with the earth and myself are one mind. Crystalline in this heart of mine.
Synthesize and synchronize, we'll harmonize our love. Synthesize and synchronize, we'll harmonize our love. Let's navigate, shifting the tones, let's modulate. This cosmos, let's travel it. Child creation got me marveling. At the core, there's a light. From south to north to they combine. Step into solving, we align. Shine in the serious bees aside. Hey.
We're also moving as a trajectory in time, an evolving celestial body moving in a trajectory of time.
Check, 1, 2, yeah. Check, 1, 2, yeah. Celestial family, root of humanity, galactic royalty. Yeah, we come from the stars and we're meant to live in the garden, giving love from the heart, and my tribe will answer the calling. Yeah, we come from the stars and we're meant to live in the garden, giving love from the heart, and my tribe will answer the calling.